Hey y'all, iRix Guy here, and I want to talk about the Sony A7R2 and dust. And I'm going to tell you how to better prevent getting dust inside of the camera. But if you do get dust inside of your A7R2, some things that you may want to try that may enable you to address the issue. So for starters, if you take your camera out, it's a bright sunny day, you got blue sky, and you crank it up to about an f/22, and you shoot the blue sky, and then you take that photo and or video back into your, download it to your computer. If you've got dust, you'll likely see spots throughout the photo or the video. Now, a lot of times those spots aren't visible unless you're cranked all the way up to f/22 or so. But if you're like me, you don't want any sort of dust, because it would be a situation where you're shooting a video or snapping some photos, and sure enough, you get the finished result and it's got little specks of dust everywhere. And that's not professional. So what do you do? What do I do? So what I do before I change my lenses, I get this thing right here and I blow around on the body of the camera before I even take the lens off, because there's dust on the outside of the camera, and when you pop that lens off, it could fall in the camera body and or the lens. So I do that. Obviously, I'm in a dust-free environment. If you want to go into your bathroom and close the door or whatever, go somewhere where there's probably not going to be dust and there's good lighting, because you want to make sure when you blow off the outside of your camera and your lens that you can see if there's any dust or any sort of other objects remaining on the body. So I do it in an area where it's, I've got good lighting and there shouldn't be any dust. And obviously I close the door because you don't want people walking by, you don't want pets walking by, because anything that comes into that environment when that camera body is, when the camera sensor is exposed because you got the lens popped off, that could create dust that could degrade your video and or photo quality. So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I do, obviously I have my lens cap ready. So it's out on the table, the countertop in the bathroom in this scenario, and it's ready. So as soon as I flip the A7R2 over with the lens facing down and pop the lens off, I gently turn the lens and then I push it onto the lens cap and screw that on to better prevent dust from entering the lens. And I'm keeping the A7R2 facing down, because the possibility of dust entering, if the sensor was up, is a lot greater than if it's facing down, just due to gravity. And again, don't do this in a windy environment. And if you've got a fan or an air conditioner, be sure that's turned off in that area, because you don't want something to kick up and stir up dust when you've got this open. So then when you put your lens back on, obviously what I always do, I have the A7R2 facing down, down towards the ground, and then I get the lens I'm going to pop on it, lift it up, and then kind of go under the camera body and screw it on to better prevent dust from entering the back of the lens that I'm attaching, because if it enters that, then when you've got it attached to the camera, it could potentially make contact with the sensor. So it sounds like a lot of hard work, but if you want to get the ultimate image and video quality, it's hard to do so with a fixed lens camera. Now, there's a lot of fixed lens cameras that are great, and you've probably seen a lot of them on my channel. But when it comes down to it, to getting that image quality that I can get with the A7R2, and in my case, I use the baddest lenses. When I'm using that, I just can't come close with a fixed lens camera. At least there's not a fixed lens camera that I've found yet that would come close to that. So for that reason, I've got to deal with the dust. Now, with all of this being said, and all the precautionary measures that I take, coming into play here, I've gotten dust on my A7R2 sensor. So what did I do? The first thing I did, obviously, I checked with Sony, because I did not want to do anything that could potentially avoid my warranty. So, again, check with Sony before you do anything. But what I did is that I got this air blower right here. And you can find a link, check the link within this video's description, and you can find it, but it just shoots out a nice blast of air. So I ran the sensor cleaner mode within the camera. And then once I did that, and obviously I ran the sensor cleaning mode with the camera facing down. Once I did that, I looked in there. Again, I'm in a dust-free environment. Well, not dust-free, but hopefully there's not a lot of dust. But I'm in an environment where I've minimized the amount of dust around me, and I've got good lighting, and I look up and I can see those fine specks of dust on the sensor. When I see those, without touching the sensor, obviously, I blast it with air, hoping that they'll fall out. And sometimes you have to run the sensor cleaning mode multiple times, and you know, I've been in a situation where that would do it. Now, unfortunately, my most recent issue, for whatever reason, I could not get the dust spots off. Now, the sensor in the A7R2, I would never recommend anybody touch it. And there's some people that do. And there's some people that have had great level of success with doing so. But I've heard stories of a lot of people that have permanently damaged their sensor by trying to remove an insignificant speck of dust. So, you know, my best recommendation is don't do something that could potentially destroy your camera just over something as minor as a speck of dust. And for that reason, I sent my A7R2 in to have it professionally cleaned, because there were some spots. I had about 5 or 6 spots, and again, I didn't notice them unless I was at f22 or so, but it was enough to just drive me crazy. Every time I'd have what I felt was a perfect video, and it was more prominent within my videos than it was my still photos, but every time I thought I had the perfect video, and I came back and I saw those little spots, and then even after I exported the video and uploaded it to YouTube, I would see those spots, and it would just drive me crazy, because every time I was watching the upcoming video, I was just wondering, is it going to get bright enough in this portion of the screen to where I can see those spots again? And sure enough, it's happened in multiple videos of mine. And you may not have even noticed it, but I do, and it drives me berserk. So, you know, it's a matter of how important video quality is for you, because if you're dealing with interchangeable lens cameras such as the Sony A7R2, you've probably got you're probably pretty snobby when it comes to image quality. So for that reason, if you're snobby when it comes to image quality, you're probably irritated when you get specks on your lens or your sensor. So now don't jump to the assumption that it's automatically your sensor, because there's always a possibility you could have specks on your UV filter on your lens. And obviously with all my lenses, before I use them for the first time, I put a UV filter on to better protect the lens. So, you know, check the easy stuff first. Make sure you don't have dust or dirt on your lens filter. That would be step one. And then, you know, the next step would be, I would go out in bright sunny day and snap a still photo at f22, and then also get a video at f22, the blue sky, take it in, look at it in, you know, in a great amount of detail, and look for any dust spots. So if you've got dust spots after you've cleaned your UV filter on your lens, then, you know, it could be something in the sensor. So then I would run the cleaning mode that's built into the A7R2, see if that does it, and if the cleaning mode doesn't do it, I may would consider getting one of these. Again, check the link within this video's description, you can find this. I may would consider that, but if all else fails, what I would do and what I've done is, you know, I've sent it in to have the specks of dust professionally removed. And it may not be something that would even show up in your videos or photos, but when you are out, you know, shooting at around f22 or so, and they'll start to show up, they will. If you're a video and photography nerd like I am, it will drive you absolutely insane. I mean, you will keep thinking about those spots of dust and how can you get rid of them. But don't jump to rash actions and go out and try to self-repair that sensor. No. Try the stuff that will not void your warranty. Again, check with Sony. Make sure what will not void your warranty. Try those steps. If those steps fail, you know, go to the professional cleaning route. It can be expensive. Fortunately, my camera was covered by warranty, so I still had to pay for shipping. And obviously, when you ship something, you got to insure it. Well, you don't have to, but if it gets damaged or lost in shipping, then you've lost any possibility of getting your money back. So yeah, so I had to pay for the shipping and the insurance of the shipping there, but hopefully warranty will cover the dust removal from my A7R2. But Yeah, I hope this video helps, because it is, if you've encountered this, well, if you're watching this video, you probably encountered this, and you're probably pretty irritated, and you know, after watching this, you're probably still irritated because you're like, man, I thought you were gonna say something magical. But keep in mind, every dust issue is unique. So this, you know, just the dust or dirt on your UV filter may be all it is. You may have dust on your sensor, but the cleaning built into the Sony may remove that dust. If that doesn't remove the dust, blowing it with one of these may do it. You may get lucky. You may not have to go as far as I did to sending the A7R2 in for cleaning, which, you know, I had to do it because I can't deal with those spots, those imperfections. They're just not cool. But thanks for watching. Again, check the link within this video's description. You can find this dust blower. There's a lot of them on the market, but this one, I mean, it just blows. It blows really hard. So, you know, when you're cleaning your sensor, you want something that blows really hard. Now, again, not too hard, because you don't want to damage the sensor. So there's a lot of, you know, use your own judgment. Check with the manufacturer. Make sure you're not voiding your warranty. And best of luck, and be sure to subscribe. And if this video helped you, be sure to support my channel if you want to. It's, you know, you can support it if you want to. It's not required, but feel free to click the support my channel link if you want to. I'd appreciate that. And again, check the link within this video's description. You can find the little air blower that I use. And subscribe, youtube.com/IrixGuy. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy, and share this video and any of my videos with others. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day.